Fusion Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
Having come to the end of that, we will move into the concept of the rule of law. The rule of law is defined as the supremacy of law over everybody in a political system. It is a provision made by the Constitution with emphasis on supremacy of the law, equality before the law, and the presence or inclusion of individual rights. According to Professor A.V. Dicey, the proponent of this principle, political leaders who are entrusted with the affairs of the state should abide by the rule of law and govern the people according to the provisions of the constitution of that particular state, as it will enhance to the absence of arbitrary rule. Principles of the rule of law. Number 1, the principle of equality. This states that law should apply equally to all citizens of a state, irrespective of their economic or political status. Nobody should be above the law, and access to legal facilities should be granted to all. Number 2, principle of individual rights. Every human being is entitled to an exercise of fundamental rights and freedom, and that when these are violated, citizens should have the right to seek redress from the courts, as only the courts have the jurisdiction to entertain such cases. Number 3, principle of impartiality. This principle stipulates that the law should be impartial in dealing with offenders. Thus, no person should be punished for any offense until otherwise established by the court. Number 4, the supremacy of the laws over every person is established. Number 5, any accused person should be allowed access to his lawyer and other facilities that might be helpful in the preparation of his case. The need to uphold the principle of the rule of law in a state. Is it important? Is it needful? Is it necessary to uphold the principle of the rule of law in a state? If yes, let us see the reasons or the need. Number 1, it checks despotic tendencies of rulers, thereby ensuring that the action of leaders conforms with the laws of the state. Number 2, it protects the citizens from arbitrary rule. Thus, they have access to courts to seek for redress whenever their rights are trampled upon. Number 3, it guarantees the fundamental human rights of citizens, which are clearly stated and entrenched in the Constitution. Number 4, it ensures equality of all citizens before the law. Thus, the rich and the poor are treated equally. Number 5, it enforces freedom of the press and makes it more functional. These are the importance of the rule of law in a state. The next thing to look into are the factors that ensure the operation of the rule of law. Number 1, we have press freedom. The press must be free and not to be censored. The government should not control or dictate to the press. Number 2, independent judiciary. There must be an independent judiciary to ensure the enforcement of the rule of law. Number 3, democracy. A democratic system accommodates the operation of the rule of law better than any other system. Number 4, quick justice dispensation. Justice must not be delayed, but must be quickly dispensed, because justice delayed is justice denied. Number 5, power separation. Powers should be strictly separated and adhered to by the various arms of government, as obedience to this ensures the operations of the rule of law. We will now look into the limitations of the rule of law as we conclude on the concept of the rule of law. Number 1, immunity of heads of states. This asserts that head of states may not be sued or appear in courts. This privilege is not extended to the citizens, and it is a limitation to the rule of law. Number 2, immunity of the parliament. The lawmakers are immune from every utterance, actions, or statements made in parliament. Number 3, the military in politics. The intervention of the military in the political process and suspension of the constitution are limitations to the rule of law. Number 4, tribunals. These are constitutional or legal courts, as its membership at times are people without legal knowledge. Individual rights for a fair hearing are usually denied people. Number 5, delegated legislation. Most bodies exercising these powers of legislation have often made it possible for the rights of citizens to be violated, and even without the possibility of obtaining any redress. These are the limitations to the rule of law, or the limitations to the application of the rule of law.